Does the lack of bourbon journalism hurt the bourbon industry? That's what we're going to be talking about today. My name is Steve Akley. Welcome to my place, the ABV Barrel Shop. It's a place where we like to have conversations like this. I'm sitting right now behind our tasting bar. There might be a time when you're in here sitting on the other side. We're debating something like this. Does the lack of journalism hurt the bourbon industry? And I would say that the answer is yes. Now, there's certainly some good journalists when it comes to bourbon. I'm talking about people like Maggie Kimbrell, people like Chuck Cowdery, Clay Risen. There's good bourbon journalists out there, but they can only write so much, and there's a lot of publications that focus on bourbon. So what happens is, and there's a whole thing where it's popular enough, it breaks through. So you see places like Forbes doing a lot of bourbon stuff, and then other websites, the aggregators that pick up blogs and things like that. That's, if you search bourbon, you're going to get a lot of stuff, but most of it's bad. A lot of it contains errors. I think people with basic bourbon knowledge can look at some of these articles and be like, this is filled with errors. This stuff's wrong here, from, just being slight things that you miss about descriptions of things being horribly wrong. So I think that there is a lack of bourbon journalism, and I do think that it hurts because people look for answers, and it is a hobby. It is, in addition to a drink, it's a hobby, and people want to learn more, and they want to be knowledgeable about bourbon. But when they're reading things that are not factual, and I think what happens is, again, I could write about anything. I'm a writer myself. If you told me to write about Broadway plays, I'd put together something. But is my passion there? Is my knowledge there? Am I going to mess things up because I don't know the intricacies of Broadway shows? Probably. I probably wouldn't be the best person for the job, and I see that stuff happening with bourbon all the time. You see these, I'm not talking about your whiskey advocates, your magazines, Bourbon Plus, the things that are geared towards bourbon people, those are fine. They're getting the Mike Veaches of the world, the Maggie Kimbrells, they're fine. But just a general article that you find online, that might be by someone who doesn't have a passion for bourbon at all. They're just trying to get a writing gig. Again, open heart surgery, I guess I could write about it, but would it be all that factual? Probably not. You need to have somebody with some sort of base writing about these things, or you're paying them where they can really put in the time and the effort to research it. I'm not saying everybody who's ever written about these things is the expertise of the doctor that's doing the surgery, but if you're writing about it, you need to do the research that gets you up to speed, and I don't think that these are well-researched articles that we're seeing out there. So I think that the lack of bourbon journalism does hurt bourbon. Is it, the thing that will ruin bourbon? No. It's bourbon's stronger than that. It's bigger than that. There's enough good bourbon journalism out there that it can overcome this, but I don't think it helps. And hopefully, you support the places that do good bourbon journalism, and then support the people that are true writers. Your Mike Veaches or your Chuck Cowderys or, Maggie Kimbrells. They've got different ways to support them. Do that. Make sure that they know that you're fans of what they do, and let's keep people like that in the business. Buy their books, seek them out. If they've got, like Chuck Cowdery has his newsletter, subscribe to his newsletter. I've subscribed to that just more as a thank you than anything. It's an old school newsletter. It's printed out. Who does that anymore? But so support your bourbon writers. Make sure that they see the love that you give to the distilled spirit, because they're going to be the ones that are going to help you find out more about what's going on. And if you're a true bourbon fan, you want to know more. So make sure that you're getting more from the right people, not from someone who doesn't care about bourbon, because it's important that they care about bourbon if they're writing about it. That's my take. There you go. That's my answer to the question. Does the lack of journalism hurt the bourbon industry?